This drill is the pivot dance. So the pivot dance is a homework drill that I've been giving a bunch of students to kind of feel what it's like to use your core and your shoulders and kind of connect everything that's going on. So it can help you break your habits of a number of different transition power sources, either pulling down with your arms or kind of spinning too much with the shoulders, not getting enough lower body involved. The pivot dance is a good little rhythmic drill you can do to feel how the shoulders and the core kind of integrate. So to do it, you're not going to need a club, and we're going to do a basic version, which is not 100% correct, and then we'll do an advanced version after that. So for the basic version, first we're going to get a little awareness of our shoulders. So we're just going to rotate our whole arm so that we can feel a little bit of tension build in our shoulders when we go like this. So we're going into external rotation, almost like turning two door knobs away from each other. Now, at the same time that we do that, we're going to try and keep our shoulders square to the camera or to the mirror if you're looking at yourself at home. And at the same time, we're going to try and rotate our lower body or our core towards the target. So it's going to look kind of like this, where the shoulders are rotating and the core is getting to the point where you get a big stretch up along this side, and you'll feel kind of a contraction in your abs on this side. So this is the basic version for feeling what's going on in the core. Next, we're going to do that in the golf posture. So we're going to do the same thing, and you'll see from the down the line, one of the big goals here is to get the shoulders to stay parallel and not move. So I want to avoid creating the rotation by pulling with my body. Instead, I'm getting the rotation more in my trunk and my core. So that's the beginning version. That's usually where I start people. But if you have a higher level of awareness, we're going to add the shoulder blades and even the wrist. So let's start with adding the shoulder blades. So now we're going to elevate and we're going to get a little bit more awareness of what's going on with the shoulder blades. So first one we're going to do is just a little protraction, retraction, just going back and forth like this. And we're going to do that at a couple different heights. So up at about forehead level and then down at about belly button level. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to stagger them. So we're going to do one high, one low. You notice I did the right arm first. It's because I want to end with the more useful one for us, which would be this one here. For a right-handed golfer, the one that I really want is the left arm up and the right arm down. Now, you'll notice when I'm doing those motions that my spine isn't really moving a whole lot. So that'll be key when we do this next part of this shoulder blade awareness, where I'm going to pull back on the right side and reach forward with the left side, or retract the right side and protract the left side while I'm in this staggered stance here, or staggered arm position, kind of like this. Okay, so that's now the shoulder blade movement that we're going to add to that first version that we were doing with the lower body. And instead of rotating this arm this way, the lead arm, we're going to rotate the lead arm in the same direction as the trail arm. So that makes it a little bit harder to stabilize with the shoulder. So it's a little bit trickier for the core, but it's more accurate in what's actually happening with the shoulders. So we've got the stagger kind of like this, and now we're going to rotate this side, the trail arm retracted, the lead side protracted, and they both rotated to the right. So here we go. So this is the more advanced version of the pivot dance. And if I did this a number of times, I'll really feel kind of this contraction all down this whole right side, kind of the inside of the shoulder blade and through the obliques, and I'll feel a stretch all the way through from the shoulder down to the hip, depending on how far I rotate. Now we're going to try doing it in our golf posture. This is where it gets a little bit more advanced. So split arms, left arm up, right arm down, rotate, just kind of like this. And this now becomes what we're going to feel right there through transition, kind of that movement there. And you can see the rhythm of the lower body rotating as the arms are doing their thing, rotating almost the opposite direction. That's building up a bunch of a bunch of tension that I can then release down during the bottom of the swing. This combines a bunch of feelings like rotating my lower body, leaving my arms behind, keeping my back to the target or don't spin the shoulders, getting that trail arm wipe in front, keeping that lead arm high. This combines a bunch of the really useful kind of feelings that you might have into one rhythmic movement that then we're going to try to apply when we pick up a club. So let's just see if we can build a little bit more awareness of that movement in a little 10 to 2. So I'm going to try and feel this movement here, and now we're going to go up to the top and we're going to feel that movement smoothly as I'm starting down. It'll feel maybe the right arm is more in, the left arm is more out, the left shoulder is more forward, the hips are more open. We got a lot of different feels we can play around with, but one drill to keep dialing in those feels. So if you're working on your pivot and your sequencing, I highly recommend you add the pivot dance to your list of homework drills.